I got a message the other day. It took me by surprise. The message said, "Dear human, you've got it all wrong. You didn't come here to master unconditional love. That is where you came from and where you'll return. You came here to learn personal love, universal love, messy love, sweaty love, crazy love, broken love, whole love, infused with divinity, every single part of love. Lived through the grace of stumbling, demonstrated through the beauty of messing up often. You didn't come here to be perfect. You already are. You came here to be gorgeously human, flawed and fabulous, and then to rise again into remembering. But unconditional love? No, stop. Stop telling yourself that story, Christine. Love, in truth, doesn't need any adjectives. It doesn't require modifiers. It doesn't require condition of perfection. It only asks that you show up and that you do your best, that you stay present and that you feel fully, that you shine and fly, that you laugh and cry and hurt and heal and fall back and get up and play and work again and die as you. It's enough. It's plenty. It's who you are. That message came to me on Wednesday. I needed that message. As a matter of fact, I can't think of any day that I might not need that message. And one of the reasons is that in my spiritual practice of spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer, I recognize right here and right now that I am unconditional love. That unconditional love is what I have been born out of. This message helps me to realize that that unconditional love that is the core, the source, and the substance of who I am is what allows me to be free and to choose and to show up messy, to make mistakes, to stumble, and to rise again. Knowing that that's the game. That's what it's about. Because along the way, in every one of those opportunities of stumbling and messy, really that attitude behind is one of unconditional love for myself, right? So this is really important to me because the theme for the month is ensuring the stewardship of our planet. And the quality or the attribute that we have been given this month to learn about is love. In order to assist us in doing our part in ensuring the stewardship of the planet. Now, I wonder if you would agree with me I'm going to share something with you from the book, Spiritual Ecology, The Cry of the Earth, that is the book of the month and in the bookstore, and I'll ask you afterwards if you agree. Regarding the planet and the reason that ensuring the stewardship of our planet really has our attention right now, that what's going on is that fear is what is fueling the current environmental movement. It's actually driven by fear of doom and disaster. That can't be right. That can't be the right motivation for a truly sustainable future. Love and reverence for the earth will automatically result in sustainability, harmony, and coherence. What a shift in consciousness. Do you find that fear is motivating? That fear is driving the things that we hear about to get our attention? Yeah. Now, okay, absolutely. Or what you're reading. Yes. And this is not pie in the sky. This is the reality of what's going on, but it's called spiritual ecology first. So this just makes complete sense to me. Because if I'm going to approach my life and who I am as a spiritual being in a more positive, affirmative way, and I'm one with the earth, and the earth, is one with me, then why wouldn't I approach caring for and being a steward of the planet in a spiritual way as well? So where I want to take this is through the lens of how we move from fear regarding ourselves and the situations of our life. How do we move from fear to embracing this message that I got that says that I came here to learn about love through personal relationships and things that I care about, and that it can be sweaty and crazy and broken and whole and messy, and all the while infused with divinity. Yes. Now, Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote that love is a synonym for God. That God is love. The teachings of Jesus, which, by the way, the founder of our teaching, the founder of religious science, the teaching of the science of mind, Dr. Ernest Holmes, spoke about Jesus a lot and said that Jesus, when people would say, well, what is this teaching based on? He frequently answered that our teaching is based on the teachings of Jesus. It's a lot of teaching words. Science of mind is based on the teaching of Jesus. It's done unto you as you believe. Know ye not that ye are gods. And one of the things that was said is that those that loveth not know not God. So the message that I received tells me that the more that I risk loving, putting myself out there, the more I know God. The more opportunity I have to develop a relationship with this infinite love of God, to know that I am enough, that I'm here on planet Earth to experiment, to try things, to step out into the unknown, and to know that there's a power and a presence on which I stand even when I don't feel it. And that there is an intuition within me, the voice of God within me, speaking through me, as me, in so many different ways that lets me know, assists me in moving forward in the areas that I want to take risks. Things that I love, things that I'm passionate about, things that I think are very, very important. Now, in the book of Genesis in the Bible, we are told that we have dominion, that we have been created. Humankind has been created with dominion over things that are lesser. And again, that doesn't diminish any of those lesser things. What it says is that a lot of those things live and operate through instinct. We've been given freedom of choice. And so when something scary and fearful shows up in our life, something that causes us to feel vulnerable, that is what we've been given dominion over. As far as the planet goes, the planet has a wisdom and intelligence of its own, as do I, as do you. And just like us, the elements that I am given in my environment have an effect on me. And the elements that we put into the environment have an effect on it. And it will find a way through its wisdom and through its intelligence, because it's one with its creator, to evolve, to adapt, to cope, to change. But it might change down the road into something that is not for us to live on. Okay, I'm not saying that from fear. I'm saying it from fact. And I'm saying that the truth about the planet is also the truth about me. So let me talk a little bit more about me, about you. How many of you know of Brené Brown? Oh boy, some hands just shot right up there. So, if you were to go home, those of you that don't, and Google Brené Brown, you would find that in a very short period of time, she has 5 books. She's kind of a sociology. I wanted to put the gist on the end, but yes, exactly, John. Thank you. And a big part of her work is around redefining vulnerability. So Brené Brown's definition of vulnerability is living in uncertainty, taking risks, and being exposed. Today, after all the years that she's been doing her work, she's so powerful, she's so on point, she's so well known and making such a difference in the world that she is being called to the biggest organizations and the most powerful movers and shakers, whether it's individuals or organizations in the world. But her work is all over YouTube videos and her books. So recently, I saw her newest book is called Courage to Lead. And, many of you know that I'm now the senior minister for the Paradise, for Center for Spiritual Living Paradise. And one of the reasons that I grabbed that book on my Kindle is that we're facing a lot of things that are unusual, that add, first of all, a huge element of uncertainty. And I am there for them to assist in facilitating and filling in the container of what they want to see happen. Not to tell them what needs to happen. So the book, Courage to Lead, I need that book and I know of Brené Brown. Well, what I started finding out in reading her book right away is that this is about the courage to lead in your own life. It's always that way. It is always that way. And so she is on a move for us as people to show us that showing vulnerability is not the key to loss. One of the things that she says, if we are living from vulnerability, is that we are willing to rumble with risk, exposure, and what was the other one? Where'd that go? Uncertainty. Okay. Exposed. It is so hot in here. Okay. Brené went and did some work on a military base to talk about vulnerability. She got a very cool welcome. She's brave. And here's the question that she asked of the military. Give me a single example of courage that did not require uncertainty, risk, and exposure. After a long period of silence, one man spoke up and said, 3 tours, ma'am. There is no courage without vulnerability. In order for me to really receive and live the message that I received, that I shared with you, the most important quality that I believe I am developing in myself is courage. Courage to live in uncertainty. To trust the presence and the power of spirit, of divine intelligence, of the pure, infinite potentiality of life that is awaiting my clear intention, backed by my belief in it, and it takes form. My intention, my belief, my groundedness in courage and living in a world of uncertainty, which we all do, it is to, we think we're sure about so many things. We think we know what is going to happen a minute from now. And of course we live our lives that way, and we should. But when then something else comes in that's unexpected that causes us to be uncertain, like the campfire or something going on with one of our kids or a loved one or a job that we're asked to leave or a monetary fund that is no longer there for us. Or like one little example for me recently was, I need a new car. How's that going to work? It worked very well. Actually, I have my car. And it's paid for. Yeah. One step, which was not, well, it was, but one thing at a time, one step at a time. And the synchronicity of events and opportunities, a scheduled appointment with the financial advisor at the same time, a day after I bought the car. And a reality check about where my thinking was. And what had I been saying? I don't know how it's going to work out, but it's all going to work out for good. That was my intention. And then walk into the uncertainty. So, what is it that we can do to develop courage? Well, I'm going to share with you in the next 5 minutes or so what Jesus had to say about that. And this is what works for me. And I think that it's very, very powerful. And I think that it speaks to who we are as spiritual beings having a human experience, the actual makeup, the DNA of who we are. When one of the religious scribes asked Jesus, which was kind of a trick question, which commandment is the most important to you? He answered, the most important is, and you shall love the Lord. My definition. And you shall love the indwelling God, the higher wisdom self that is at the very center and core and circumference of your being. And he didn't just leave it there. Love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. So I looked at each one of those and began thinking of them individually, and I said, you know what? That is every single part of me. And since the focus this month has been on love, and what kind of love do we want to step into in order to ensure that we are living as stewards of our own lives and the life of the planet? One thing. Well, that love is in the heart. That love is in my physical body. I feel it here. Love God with all my heart. And through the Science of Mind teaching, there's a phrase that it actually matches my physical experience when I say, love God with all my heart. What I'm experiencing is that my heart and the emotion of love is actually encapsulating my mind. And the essence of my mind changes. my mind calms down. My mind feels open. Love God with all of your heart. I feel bigger, more powerful. I feel strong in my steps. I feel like I can actually walk into uncertainty with a big old smile on my face. We use this for some very, very serious, important things to us. We also use it for trivia. You want to hear my latest trivia? Oh, thank you. So on Friday night, I actually got invited. Christine, would you like to go to this dance with me? God. If you're out there on live stream. It's in Oroville, over at the Southside Community Center. Well, every single week I hear about Oroville Southside Community Center, and they have a dance over there, and it's announced every week. And I'm like, I'm not going. I don't want to drive over there. I don't know what it would be like. I don't know this. I don't know that. Everything the opposite of uncertainty. But the thing underneath all of that is, yeah, but I love to dance. So, okay, I've really been exploring all the times and noticing all the times that I say, no, I'm not going over there. No, or somebody asks me, are you going to Southside? No, I don't go over there. Fear, uncertainty, taking risk, who might be there, who might ask me to dance, can I find my way? Oh my goodness, a powerful woman acting like this. So I took a baby step and I said, I'll meet you there. Don't laugh. I had a very good reason. So I had to go, right? I had to go. I was 1 hour late. 1 hour late. It wasn't all my resistance or uncertainty. It was my mom's fault. And long story short, I went. I felt my resistance. I felt all the fear of the uncertainty of what I was going to experience. And I went, one step at a time. I found my way. I always use my phone GPS. For some reason, I decided to print out a MapQuest, which printed out the wrong directions. I'm going left when I should have gone right. It's a dark road. It's already dark. It's 8 o'clock. And finally, I got it on my phone. Why did I always use my phone. Why did I do that? Okay. It was so much fun. Every single part of it was so much fun. It was a great venue to go dance. And it had a live band, and they were good. And I got to dance, every time, as long as my heart could handle it, because we were doing a lot of fast dancing. So, from what seems like the trivia, but it's not trivial. It's not. Love God with all your heart. I love to dance. Get my heart, get my mind, get my soul behind it. Now, I want to talk for a minute about the soul part. Love God with all your soul. I had to give a lot of thought to this one. And what I came up with is loving God with all, when I'm grounded first in my heart, then The soul, I think of it metaphysically through the teaching of the science of mind, as the soul is the soil that receives the direct impress of my intention. It's the seed, the tomato or the bell pepper or the whatever it is, planted in the soil, the soul, the responsive power, the place that when I'm working on positive, life-giving beliefs, living in uncertainty, trusting life, trusting myself, trusting my intuition, that all of those ideas filter down into my soul, and they must, as Ernest Holmes says, become embodied. Now, going to the dance, it wasn't embodied, but it was an idea, and I stepped into uncertainty. And we do this all the time. Feel the fear and do it anyway, right? Feel the fear and do it anyway. But next time I go, it's more embodied because I stepped out into uncertainty, I took a risk, and I felt exposed in doing it. Make sense? Love God with all your heart first. Then know that it's in your body, but it's the body of your affairs. That it's the responsive power that says yes to what you believe and the seeds that you plant. And from that place, love God with all your mind. Your mind knows what direction to go and how to think to move you in the direction. And your body, your intentions will be filled with strength to be, to go, to do, to experience life, to experience yourself. Even when you're stepping in the direction of things that hurt. It's messy. Losing someone special to you. Even a four-legged someone. I know it's going to come. That's what gets me so choked up about it. Many of us have had that experience with loved ones. Love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. We will know what is ours to do to ensure the stewardship of our planet. The more grounded and centered I am, the more willingness to rumble with uncertainty in my life, I know how to show up for the planet, not in fear, but in love. And in closing, this is what C.S. Lewis says. To love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything and your heart will be wrung and possibly broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, you must give it to no one, not even an animal. Wrap it carefully round with hobbies and little luxuries. Avoid all entanglements. Lock it up safe in the casket or the coffin of your own selfishness. But in that casket, safe, dark, motionless, airless, it will change. It will not be broken. It will not become unbreakable. It will become unbreakable, impenetrable, irredeemable. To love is to be vulnerable. And what a joy it is. I love you all. Blessings and namaste.